Hey, this is Peter, and welcome to another Take a Break with Valley CAD. So, have you ever had it to where you had to insert the same part over and over and over again into an assembly, right? And then after that, you had to mate it up over and over and over again? Yeah, really tedious and kind of boring, right? Well, what we're going to work through today is an assembly function, and it's going to help us speed up that inserting a component and also mating it up quickly. Yes, there are actually several ways to do this, but we're only going to focus on one of them today, and what that's going to be called is copy with mates. Awesome tool. It has saved me multiple times. So go get your favorite cup of coffee or tea, and I'll see you in SOLIDWORKS in just a click. Hey there, welcome to SOLIDWORKS. So you see that I got a simple little weldment system here, and what we want to do is insert this foot over and over again. Actually, total 6 times is how many times I need this foot. And that foot might look familiar to you. I used this foot as an example for when I showed how to use cosmetic thread over using the thread command. And so if you want to see that video, I'll have the link up above me. Open up as a separate tab because you don't want to get off of this video just yet. So as I was mentioning in the intro, I want to take this foot and I want to duplicate it over and over again, and that's tedious. You know, coming up to insert component, say that part there, component, drop it in. Then I'm going to use control, click on that cylinder there, say be concentric to each other, cool. I'll click on this face, hold down control, click on that face, say be parallel to each other, all right. And then I need to make sure I'm the same distance. So one way I could do that is simply click on the bottom face, hold down control and click on that bottom face and say be coincident to each other. That's gonna lock this next foot that I inserted like in place. But as I was mentioning, I had to insert component, then I had to come in and create 3 new mates to make this thing fully defined on my conveyor system. Now, yes, there are other ways that we can quickly reuse this very first component, such as like using linear patterns or mirroring patterns. There are ways for us to do this in a fast motion as well, but maybe we got a scenario to where we don't have a consistent location of where our pads are. Maybe you got a system where you need to duplicate this, but it's not a standard procedure. So this is where the command copy them with mates really comes in and is super powerful. So coming in here, I'm going to simply delete this pad. That's just silly. And I'm going to say delete child features with it. So that way it gets rid of those mates inside of it as well. And you can see that living in that little window as well. So simply say delete to that. Okay, so what we want to do is insert a component and mate it all at once. Okay, so to do this, we're going to utilize that command I've said multiple times, copy with mates. So copy with mates lives up here in the top left side of your assembly tab. And if you click on that drop down arrow, you'll see the command called copy with mates. Clicking on this, what SOLIDWORKS is going to ask you to do first is specify the component that you're going to want to basically duplicate with the mates. And what that component will be in this scenario will be that foot. So if I click on that, what I'm gonna have to do next is either right click on my mouse, or I could click on this little side arrow. So whenever you see that, it means that you have a secondary process that you have to do to implement this command completely. So simply right clicking, you'll see that SOLIDWORKS will capture that component and all the mates that were used for that component. Pretty cool. So if I had a really complex part that had multiple mates associated with it, they will all be listed here. In this scenario, we only have 3 mates, so pretty straightforward, right? So what we want to do here is we want to see how were these mates used at first, and how do we want them to be used on my duplicated component. So we see that we have a concentric mate here, and that concentric is being used between the shaft of the foot and that hole. Well, how this works is you simply come over to maybe where you want to live next, and if I click on this cylinder there, SOLIDWORKS will simply drop it in that given location. Then you'll see the next step there is, hey, let's include a distance mate. Now, with that distance mate, there are 2 options that we could do here. One of them is I could simply say, hey, SOLIDWORKS, just repeat the parameters that I used when I first did that mate command. Hey, pretty cool. But if you don't want it to do that, you want it to reference a different surface or face, you could do that. And also you can reference a new value of distance there too. Pretty awesome. In this scenario, we're gonna simply say, repeat it. Done. Now, because I click on repeat, it's gonna take all the parameters that were used when I initially inserted that component with that mate. Then the next one, or the third one that you'll see there, is a simple parallel mate. So in this scenario, I'm gonna say repeat again. Now, after that, you'll see that my foot went from a transparent component to a opaque component. So meaning, hey, you got it fully in there. So now what I could simply do is right click. Now, because I had these components on repeat there, my parallel and distance, SOLIDWORKS will keep that for this next component I'm gonna drop in. Now, if you do want SOLIDWORKS to ignore a given mate from the parent mate there, you just simply click on that given mate icon. So let's say I want to ignore the parallel mate, simply click on that. SOLIDWORKS will ignore it for this next instance that I'm dropping in. Okay, but I do want to keep that parallel and we'll simply utilize the repeat again. So all I have to do is simply click on this cylinder. SOLIDWORKS will take all the parameters that were used initially because I have repeat there and we're done. Simply right click. It was really like that, quick and easy. So now let's come on to our other side here. And as I mentioned, yes, we could easily just say we're done with this and we can mirror those components onto the other side. That's totally fine, but we're gonna still show you how to use the copy with mates. So what we're gonna do next is come in and simply click on that cylinder. Now, because SOLIDWORKS is referencing the mates based off of your very first component that you use, it is not based off of the last instance that you dropped in. It's always based off the very first one. You'll see here that SOLIDWORKS is trying to keep that parallel mate associated with how it is initially. So that's why my foot is backwards. So what I will need to do here is simply uncheck that repeat and then reassociate it to another face. So for instance, I could say, hey, I want to be on that face. Okay, done. Then from there, simply right click. And then do that again. We'll simply come in here. I want to be concentric to there. And since I have that parallel unchecked, I can simply click on that face. SOLIDWORKS is good. And like I said, I can also flip that if I want to. So I do want to stick out that way. Simply right click one more time. And then from here, finish it up. We'll click there, and say done. Now that we insert our last component, you'll see that SOLIDWORKS does show that transparent foot. So I could continue on mating here, or I could just simply click on the cancel button. And then with that, SOLIDWORKS came in and it inserted a total of 5 more feet for me. And you'll see that it has all these mates associated with it, just like that for me, all done inside of one command. So this is one way to speed up your inserting components and mating them up quickly. Hopefully you can find some really great applications for this. So anyways, thank you for taking some time, enjoying your cup of coffee or tea, and watching us take a break video with ValleyCAD. I really do appreciate you taking time watching these things. Well, anyways, if you are enjoying these, please click that thumbs up button. Also click subscribe, and so you can get notified of future take a break videos and other videos that we are posting here at ValleyCAD. Have a great rest of the day and make sure you learn something new.